The regular meeting of Council of the Borough of Montville for Monday, August 17th, 2020. Under order, please call the roll.
Councilman Borowski?
Here.
Councilman Lamb?
Here.
Council President Salem?
Here.
Councilman Stockdale?
Here.
Councilman Fincher?
Here.
Councilman Philpott?
Here.
Killed everybody with that. Please read the open public meetings statement.
Due to the coronavirus pandemic, this meeting has been closed to the public physically and is being live streamed via YouTube with comment period for the public. Notice of this remote meeting was posted on our website with instructions on how the public can connect to live stream this council meeting.
We apologize for being a little bit late tonight, a little bit of a technical glitch. This time I'm going to ask for a moment of silence. We did have two local residents pass away. First was Carol Traverso from Pennsylvania Avenue. She's been serving on our beautification committee, I think, for as long as I've been up here, along with her husband. So please keep her in your thoughts, as well as Karen Baker from Bay Beach Way, neighbor of Dave's. Keep both those local residents in your thought, as well as your own intentions. And after the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm going to ask Mr. Finter to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I want to welcome everyone to the meeting on YouTube. We weathered the storm pretty well, that offshore hurricane that we had. We did have electrical issues on the previous one that we got through. Some beach missing after this last one, and apparently some sea lice up there that are affecting the swimmers. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape here for the summer. Bad sales continue to be excellent. I did discuss the fall season with several of the local realtors, and all of them were reporting to me that tenants are extending their leases into September, maybe into October. With many of the North Jersey schools not open, there's no football, there's no sports, there's no reason to leave beautiful Lavallette. So I think that's going to have an impact on services, Bob. We're going to see, additional trash collection required, and probably need some additional police on the weekends on the beach. So we better be prepared. Looks like it's going to be kind of like it was in the spring when Bay Boulevard was busy all the time. We're going to see probably the same amount of people around here well into the fall.
They're worried about school too. People may stay here because they don't have to commute, they can work from home.
Yeah. And Lavallette School is open.
Lavallette School. And they can,
Yes.
as long as they pay taxes and they're domiciled here.
Yeah. So interesting fall we're going to have here. Okay. We have approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of July 20th, 2020, and the executive session minutes of July 20th, 2020. If there are no additions, corrections, changes, so I'll ask for a motion on the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski?
Yes.
Councilman Philpott?
Yes.
Council President Salem?
Yes.
Councilman Stockdale?
Yes.
Councilman Fincher?
Yes.
Councilman Lamb?
Yes.
And that motion is approved. Resolutions on consent, I will read by number. Council may comment along the way. At the end, I'll ask for a motion, a second, and then we'll take a roll. Number 201, awarding a contract to Earl Asphalt for the New York Avenue Road Improvement Project, amount of $199,213.13. Mr. Bryce, how does that compare to the estimates that we had got from the engineer?
It's less. We got further estimates too from other companies. They go to the next one, cheapest one is $233,000, then $244,000, then $254,000.
Well, good. We'll take the 199. Thank you. 202, hiring Jonathan Reuter as a temporary seasonal laborer at an hourly rate of 11. Is that for DPW?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We had, I'm sorry, we've had several of our seasonals already leave for school, so he's back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only that, we're losing a permanent guy also, Scott and John.
That is Friday.
Sheriff's Department.
Who's this?
I'll give you the name.
Okay, number 203, approving a facilities use application of Somerset Select Baseball to hold tournaments at Chandler Field on Saturday, September 19th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday, September 20th, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Is that a repeat, Don?
Yeah, that's our usual guy, Kevin
Okay.
Crowley.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
that's the one where the gentleman took a tractor on the
Oh, that is
field a year or so ago and tried to
manicure.
remove it.
Yes.
So I think that's, should be responsibility of DPW.
It is, it certainly is. We'll remind him of that.
I'll
We'll
remind
take care of it, Field. Thank you very much. 204, authorizing municipal clerk to prepare and submit application for funding through the Ocean County Cultural and Heritage Commission's 2021 Local Arts Program grant for next year's summer concert series. 205, approving a facilities use application to J.M. Skora Photography to hold a mock-style wedding photo shoot on the Bay Beach on Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Is that after the season?
Yes.
Yeah, it's after the season, and it's not a real wedding, she's just taking pictures, so she
Okay.
put it on her website, so she's
Okay.
just kind of gonna have stuff there.
205A, hiring a badge checker at an hourly rate of $11 effective August 13th through September 7th. 205B, approving Crystal Waters to attend the Ocean County Police Academy Class 2 training effective August 21st, 2020. Any further discussion on any of the agenda items?
I did want to mention, I want to thank Donnelly for getting that application in for our concerts, because the concerts have been wonderful. We had to cancel the first two, but since then I've been social distancing them with the flags that DPW gave me those flags, and it's been wonderful. They really have loved it, and the cops were inundated with calls the other day because I had to cancel. I had to cancel yesterday, it was raining, but they all wanted to go, so they kept calling and calling and calling. The sun came out for just a little bit, and I said, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't make a mistake. But I didn't, it went right back to rain, and the grass was all wet. But we've had a great concert series, so I thank you, Donnelly, for taking the time, and if there's anything I can attend to make it, we get points if I attend something,
Yeah,
let me know. and
Mostly
I
gonna
will-
be webinars, so you won't have to. do
Okay,
that.
well, even if I can do webinar, I'll try that too. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments on the consent agenda? If not, I'll accept the motion.
So moved. Second.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski?
Yes.
Councilman Philpott?
Yes.
Council President Salem?
Yes,
Councilman Stockdale?
Yes.
Councilman Winter?
Yes.
Councilman Lamb?
Yes.
And that motion is approved. The resolution is all consent. At number 206, the bills list the amount of $492,207.80.
So moved. Second.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski?
Yes.
Councilman Philpott?
yes,
Council President Salem?
yes,
Councilman Stockdale?
Yes.
Councilman Winter?
Yes.
Councilman Lamb?
Yes.
And that motion is approved. And we're moving through this agenda.
sounds good.
Unfinished business. At the last meeting, we were all presented with a study that our engineer, O'Donnell Stanton, had done with regard to the sewer system and infiltration issues that we're having there. And he has proposed a study to try to determine what the problem might be. It's a preliminary study. He wants to do videoing of select manholes to try to break the town up into 6 zones and try to figure out which of those zones has the biggest problem and then do more research there. I've had some discussions with Bob. I mean, his own report says that late at night, there should be zero flow. I'm confused as to why we can't just have our own people come in here.
I think we can, I think we do an in-house trial. It doesn't
Yeah,
work.
spend a little bit of our own money to see if they can detect something, maybe have them split it into 6
Yeah, I think
zones.
we're gonna have to wait a little while.
Yeah, oh,
Police
yeah.
just mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that it was September, looks like it's still gonna be crowded, October may be crowded, so.
But again, at midnight, or 2 in the morning, when these studies are typically done.
It should be
there
zero.
shouldn't have any flow, except if it is excess infiltration.
Yeah, right.
And from the previous studies that were done years back, that breakout of the 6 different locations, I think the gentlemen at DPW have a pretty good grasp of how those systems.
Well, it's all mapped. We certainly have a map and they can, say, if this zone is gonna come through this sewer, right? Yeah.
In fact, I mean, that's how they discovered where some of these sub pumps will be
Yeah.
connected.
And that may be a part of the problem here,
Because
because
was this a little bit of overtime on, as part of.
That's what I was thinking for the amount, it's a small amount compared
If we
to.
can keep keep our eyes on it. I think that's the way to proceed.
We're talking about maybe a few cameras, inexpensive cameras to keep down there in certain areas and just, see if that works. I don't know, we'll talk about it.
So as of right now, we're paying about over $500,000 a year to treat what we believe to be infiltration. I think that after we lined the pipes a decade ago, we got it down to what would be the baseline minimum amount of infiltration that we're going to see. That was $250,000, Mr. Price. Remember what that number was? So it's like 250 is as low as we're ever going to get. So in doing this work, if we choose to do it, we'll look to be saving maybe $250,000 in the infiltration. So the question is, how much do you want to invest to try to kill that 250 per year? 10 years is a lot of money. 2.5 million, if my math is correct. So, if it was going to cost us $500,000 to fix this problem, then it probably would be worth it. But I think the study is important. This study proposed by O'Donnell Stanton is like $60,000 a year for them to come in and do their study of it. And I think it's a good idea to try it on our own first. Maybe they, take a camera and a stick that's marked so they can, see how the flow is. At least give it a shot before we invest the $60,000. But I think in the long run, it might be worth our investment again, as we did a decade ago, to try to stem the flow here a little bit.
Mayor, as a related point, we got the first 6 months. We're at 71 million gallons through June. Last year, same period, we were at 77.4 million. So we are down.
But it is drier this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could directly be tied to the rains flowing into these Yankee basements, the sump pumps kicking on. I don't know how much they might discharge in a day, but it could very well be sump pumps, or it could be, possible damage from the highway project. I think about 25% of our entire system was replaced during that construction, so it shouldn't be in the new stuff, but I guess anything's possible, so.
Mayor, can I ask you a question? And the increased population, how does that affect all of this? Because if we're down low through June, we have extra people here.
Well, you're going to be able to detect higher flow, obviously, but you can correlate that with the water usage as well. So, what isn't pumped fresh water has to be coming from somewhere.
Okay.
So we can do a correlation to see, water consumption is going up and sewer flow goes up the same amount. We would expect that because the population increased. When one skews and is tied to rainfall, then we think we have a problem. So why don't you discuss it with the superintendent, and I think maybe after this mad rush, like maybe October, November, we can start thinking about doing something like this. So in the meantime, we'll just put this on hold, Mr. Rice. All right.
When this came up, I did call, and they said the best thing is to get cameras and take a look at the system. But if we can do it, we'll do it, save some money.
Their proposal to do that was several $100,000 to video every pipe. What this study tries to do is break it down into 6 areas and see if one is worse than the other, then only look at 1/6 of the system to try to find out what is going on. I mean, it's possible it could be across the board here, who knows, but a little bit of our own investigation might pay off in the long run.
Good.
Okay, any other unfinished business council would like to discuss?
I don't really have to discuss this, but I want to tell you all how happy people are that we have the matrix on President Avenue. I've been down to the beach, and one day there were 7 children in wheelchairs, and I got a call from Taylor English that she goes to the beach at least once a week, and other people that have beach buggies are very happy that it's there. And tell you the truth, I walk on it all the time. I don't spend my time walking on the sand. Sometimes the sand is too hot, and everybody walks on the matrix. So it really was a great thing. So they said, tell everybody thank you that we do that for them.
We had to go, and just to say in the matrix, this summer, we had to
Pull it up,
full
yeah.
label day to pull it up because
Yes,
Captain Lane Guards called us and said we're going to lose it if we don't
Right.
get it.
and I wanted to thank you, that these are thank yous to the public works.
We had to keep a couple guys over.
How many man hours does it take to remove and replace that pump?
It's not that long. They only took about half of it up for this past storm.
Right.
So, probably, probably 3 guys, in a couple hours.
And Teddy was nice enough to make sure it got there for the weekend. He made sure it got there on Friday, so
So they
that,
had to bring it back.
yeah, they brought it back right away, and they didn't just keep it on. And I want to thank him also, because after that hurricane, the lights, the timers on the lights were off, and the basketball court was supposed to go off at 10, it was going off at 9:30. I know because I was down there with the league, and I called Teddy, and right away he sent somebody over, they adjusted it. So now they go off at 10, like they were supposed to. And right in front of me here on the chairs, I wanted to show you the dailies that I gave the monies to make that beautiful basketball court, which is the best surface in our town. They were very thrilled that the kids were down there with the league. There's 40 kids in the league. Most of them are from Lavalette. And she gave each of them, she ordered shirts. Michael, could you hold the shirt up there? Yeah, it's called the Park League. That's the name of their league, the Park League. And then on the back of the shirt, the kids were thrilled. They wear the Park League. And on the back of, on the back of the shirt, it says, "Shine like George."
Show it to the camera, Mike.
Shine like George.
There you go.
Yeah, shine like George. Beautiful. It's really been a nice experience.
How much? $10?
Good experience. She gave it to all the kids, and they're thrilled. And there was a question about the use of the court for anything, other thing, any other sport. And our borough administrator has a great way of talking to people and discussing things with people. And we did put the aerobics, it's safer for them to be on the court. So they are on the courts from 8 to 9, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
The old ones, the old courts? Or
The new
the
ones.
No, they're gonna share.
They're shared.
Okay.
So,
They're all getting along.
yeah, there's 2 courts, so.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Mary takes the one court, and then the other court is for basketball if someone comes. And the other day, I was sitting down there watching, and actually nobody was coming to play basketball. So 2 of the ladies moved back just a little bit, but they always aim for one court. I think it's the best thing. The other
I just asked her
courts,
why, because she used to say that she really liked the old courts. It was just perfect for her stuff.
if somebody fell,
Oh,
it's
I know.
not,
The surface
the
is
surface is not.
not safe enough anymore.
Yeah, no, the basketball courts are really the best. So I wanted you to see that. There's another shirt there. You don't have to pick it up, Mike, but, I went to the food truck, and I forgot to bring that in. There's a shirt there. We're all in this together. Did you see that? So I bought that shirt from the LDA, and it's right there.
Oh, that's it, Mayor? Or-
I did not.
Okay.
What?
I was wondering who came up with that saying.
Oh, I think
The LDA.
this, LDA did.
They got the banners also,
Banners
like
all
the way
around.
out downstairs.
Most of the stores that participate.
High school Disney movie.
Yeah, it's from
That's it?
Yeah.
Can you sing us a few bars?
We're not.
Red camera.
I didn't want to be the only ones who were gonna do that.
I might have watched it 3 times, but.
Bob and I have been trying to get our president late going, and he's been a big help calling, and Ted's been a big help calling. I called today because I said, I'm really just getting a little bit upset that people that live near here are really upset. I want an answer.
This is Bay and President Avenue.
They, President Avenue Lake,
Anita's Bay,
my lake.
Lake Anita.
I have an ocean, a bay, and a lake, but I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
You went to the lake?
Yeah, the lake. I was just telling the mayor, this much I can share with you. I was very upset that we have nothing down there. They were very upset with Earl, who did the work. So they also realized that they're gonna change what Earl did, but they also think that the high tide at the bay is the same level as the road there. So they are going to redo that whole road and lift it up at least 6 inches, so that when high tide comes, it doesn't just go right over.
Well, that's secret.
It's gonna put it right on top.
It's gonna put
It's gonna go right on the property.
Right now,
on 2 streets instead of one.
They're gonna work on 6 inches high, and he also said, and Anita let people know, I will get all that stuff off there. that Earl left there with the, I said, it's a parking lot and it's a place where people go. You gotta get rid of it. He says, it will be gone this week.
Well, knowing how long it took to get this much work done, I'm sure it's gonna be quite a while.
Yeah, but this
We'll
is
get to
the
review those plans
Yeah.
well before they decide.
Are we gonna take a good look at that?
Brown
Because
Avenue still floods.
Yes, there's streets.
We have-
Down faster after the work.
we have our own ordinance about raising properties, and I'm not real comfortable with it.
Not proper street.
Yes, but what it does is it causes the water from the street to run off onto the properties. Because you can't tell me that my house is at this level and then you're gonna raise the street outside of my house by 6 inches and that water is not gonna run off onto my property if it is indeed lower, which it probably is. I think we have to look at the plan before we go ahead with
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
I don't have a plan.
That's
Once
that's
they
what
do,
I'm saying, it's
that's what-
probably 2 years in the making. This
And,
one was
well,
longer
you know,
than that.
I think maybe
I think I have
our own engineer, and I certainly would like our construction official to look at it, because of our own ordinance that we have on raising properties, which have caused a problem, for some of our homeowners. Let's just take a look at it, not just go raising
Yeah, no,
the street 6 inches.
We're not doing anything right now.
Just talk
They're-
right now.
They're,
Okay.
You're
That's
gonna
good.
repair what they
Right.
did incorrectly here, and hopefully that's gonna keep
That's fine.
most of the water off the street, except
raising-
during the extreme tides.
Raising the street is something I think we've got to be careful with.
All right.
yes, we will.
Other unfinished business.
I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but we're still getting vandalism down at the gazebo and also down at the Reese Avenue. I know I mentioned that the last time, so if you could talk to Colin or the chief about maybe having a class 1 in those areas. I don't know if it's just the weekends where it's happening, but it's starting to become a regular.
Mr. Lane, they actually made 3 arrests last night.
Okay.
For, spray painting.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I think that was in the bridge area.
Okay,
We don't know if it's the same people that, did the building.
I appreciate that. That's good.
I just found that out today, they made 3 arrests.
Excellent, thank you.
Just in response to that, I think we're still having some degree of difficulty in multiple locations, not just at the gazebo. I think we still have some issues up on the beach after hours.
Yeah, I've been getting a few
We
calls
have
and
some,
letters
we
about it
have
as well.
some issues with people who are shooting off fireworks at 3 o'clock in the morning. We have people who are parking in other people's driveways and doing whatever they want to do. So there's a number of issues, and the class 1s are not on all night on bicycles.
I think, in my opinion, again, this is anecdotal, but I see the kids going into that gazebo, and it's not real late at night. It's at 10, 11 o'clock.
But we have a
We have a
curfew.
curfew, right? By the time I call, it takes a while for somebody to get down to that gazebo. So, I mean, if they could just put somebody there and station them there for an hour or 2, I think that would alleviate the problem. Obviously, they did their job last night. They got 3 arrests for.
Mr. Rice, did I understand you correctly? It was at the bridge, the spray painting?
I think that was for spray painting.
At the West Point Island Bridge.
We don't know if it was the same people that, graffitied the pavilion last week. Out on Carr Avenue.
I would suspect, but I.
Were any residents in the town?
I believe, don't quote me, but I believe 2 were Tom's River and 1 was out of state.
Welcome to Lot 11.
Yeah, I'll mention it to Colin again, but you know, the police department has been notified of all these issues on multiple occasions by myself and by a number of people that I know who have called directly. I don't have the authority to tell them what to do. I can suggest, so I will
I'm
suggest.
just saying, I was news to me on what Rick.
Well, I didn't know that either, but I will suggest and see if we can keep a couple of patrols along Bay Boulevard. If it's going from West Point Island Bridge to the curb, was it? The
Reese
down
Avenue.
Reese Avenue and the gazebo in between. It seems to me that it would be beneficial to have someone that's going back and forth for a couple of hours before the curfew.
So I did have a call with the chief last week, after a couple of the incidents, and that's why they did have.
Okay.
Enhanced patrol up there.
Right.
However, I've also had talks with them on some of the other issues that you spoke on this phone call. about the beach after hours. And, you know, I think they're making some adjustments up there as well. I think we need to see some results up there, like we saw down the beach. It's great that they got a couple of the actors not paid for. I'd like to see, you know, let's get something up there on the beachfront too.
Can we put a video camera in the gazebo? Not that
We
much
used to
money.
have one.
Yeah, we used to
We
have.
used to have one there.
You know, it's not that much money for one inside.
Well, the problem is if they're from out of town and out of state, how are we gonna identify them?
Last
They were our
year,
own
when we
kids.
had the video camera, we had some beautiful pictures of people, and we showed it around, and nobody.
Nobody knows who they are.
Would it be possible to put a camera that fed the dispatch office so they can watch that, and if there's some activity, they can
Right
alert patrolmen to go down there and investigate?
That's possible, I think.
That cost might exceed just having a, you know, a class 2 special on the bicycle park there.
You know, these city police forces have these things all over. They have the CCTVs, I can't imagine a small system would be that impressive.
Maybe we can have a tech guy take a look at that. Are they wireless? Maybe they're wireless. Good.
Nothing like having somebody just ride his bike up there, one of our class ones, and just park there and sit there for like 2 hours till the kids go away.
Agreed, but if people look at their cell phone and can see who's at their door 200 miles away.
Yep.
Great.
Also, you know, you put a sign up there under video surveillance, things calm down also.
They'll look for the video and they'll tear it out.
It's worth a shot. We'll have a man take a
Yeah,
look.
video, don't you?
And I have to compliment the police when we're playing that basketball down there, we play until now 9:45, so it's past the curfew, and we have all the names and everything. And I asked if a patrolman could come down, and every Friday, and every Saturday, there's a patrolman comes down on his bike and stays right there. So everybody goes. I just thought there might be problems, so they all leave and the whole place is empty.
So
So
it
they came down
works. Works.
every time, every time.
All right, any other unfinished business?
I do, man.
Yes, sir.
This has been coming up for the last couple of months regarding our cable franchise. We've gotten a couple correspondence lately. I've gotten some phone calls. We have one correspondence from a gentleman over on West Point Island, and also the school sent us something. The school is requesting that we contact the cable company to make sure that we're getting top-notch service for the internet, to be able to handle any sort of load that they have. If they do have to go remote, while they are going back to the school setting, if they have to go back remote, they want to be prepared to be able to handle that. Especially because, like Mrs. Zolman said, you know, there may be some increased students as well. So they want us to contact the cable company for that purpose. In addition, like I said, we've gotten calls about the quality, the price, and other customer service issues. So I'll be preparing a letter for them. My question is, do we want them to, it's kind of tough, I wish we had regular meetings again. Do we want them to come to a meeting, or be prepared to come to a meeting, or do we want to just?
Maybe they could send a representative. I tried to call you last week maybe about my own service on Westmont. I say that storm knocked the cable from the pole, and there was no way that I could contact them. I spent hours online trying to get them to come over and service this. I asked the police department to call it in as a down wire, which was across the street. Nothing, no response from them.
So in review our contract with them, we're supposed to have a designated representative. I don't think we do. I think we have a sales rep that can contact. I'm gonna try the sales rep and see if they, I don't think they can do anything about, you know, talking to us about the account, but I need someone to tell us about the service.
We need a phone number,
Okay, I need-
even if it's just for borough officials who can field
Yeah.
the citizens' complaints and then funnel them there. I mean, my frustration level was incredible. Over a week, we could not get TV.
That's where you go for
We
fun.
used to have,
We can't, they won't give it to
They
us.
won't give it to us.
we used to have a designated rep many
Right.
years ago.
The office in Seaside is closed.
I might have the
No,
old,
Freehold,
Yeah.
Freehold's the closest place.
I
You
might
can't
have the
call
old
them,
Rolodex.
it's simply a service issue, you can't get through it. It is absolutely
They used to
ridiculous.
come in and televise our meetings.
Yeah. I know.
So,
Monopoly.
It's an ongoing problem in all of their service areas, every one of the service areas.
2024.
It was after the storm, but
Pardon
in
me.
speaking with the guy who finally showed up, he told me he's the only technician on the entire island, one guy, servicing everything out there. Yeah.
But part of the issue is not only an increase in our own enrollment here in the school, but anybody whose kids, from wherever they come, if they're online, there's no reason they can't go to school online in Lavallette, even though their school is in Connecticut or New York or Timbuktu. So we need probably an upgrade in the broadband service, but I'm not sure that Cablevision has the capability of increasing the broadband. They give you what they give you. Individuals, you can increase your own speed, but from what I heard, complaint-wise especially, is that most of the people with the complaints are already paying top dollar for the highest service that they can buy. And the price keeps going up and the service keeps going down, and we're stuck in this contract with, very honestly, sadly, no alternative. We don't have another company that's capable of servicing the borough of Lavallette. Verizon will not put in the fiber optics to each of our homes to make Fios and their internet service available to our homes. 5G is not near ready to go, in spite of what they're telling the public. There is no such thing as 5G being transmitted through Verizon yet, because the individual small nodes, that whole, piggyback kind of process is not totally in place. They put in some fiber cables that are on poles and stuff, but their project is not complete, and 5G technology is not what you're going to have on the current equipment that you have. The new 5G is different than the bars that you see on your phone or what you think your TV is capable of. So we're not close to even the 5G on your phone with Cablevision, but it's not this super fast thing like you have in Giant Stadium. They're not here, and our process for them to come here is not an easy one, because they will not alter their technology to make it safer. And the public, and not just in Lavallette, but in many areas, are strongly opposed to the reports that are coming out about the physical dangers of this new 5G technology to all kinds of people. So, Mr. Bryce, am I correct? It's T-Mobile. Is it T-Mobile that has it from the
Water tower.
water tower?
Yes.
T-Mobile is offering their customers some kind of 5G technology. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not a customer, but they can do it off of their tower on the water tower. And I asked Mr. Bryce to ask the Verizon representative, well, if T-Mobile can do it, why can't you do it? It might be more palatable up there than it is. I understand that now, but I didn't understand it then. Instead of having a new node every 300 feet or whatever they want to do, and Verizon explains that they have a different technology. Their systems don't work the same, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't happen. These tech companies need to adapt, not only to us, and we'll adapt to them, but they can't be out in left field and we're going to be out in right field and try to get together in the middle. It's just not going to happen.
Anything else, Mr. Bryce?
No, prepare a letter.
Okay, I just had one other unfinished business topic. A couple meetings ago, we had discussed extending the hours of the badge checkers. I've been getting some phone calls and we're all getting letters in our boxes about some of the issues that are occurring apparently after the 4 o'clock mark. This coming period is perhaps our busiest time. The end of August is where we see the most people around. Maybe we can extend the hours on weekends at least for the badge checkers to get them a couple more hours.
Because we're losing badge checkers now. It's that time of year
Yeah.
when we start to lose them.
See if we can get some, if there's no objection, extending the hours on
Brought it
Saturday.
up the last time, trying to give her rule was a problem with lunches.
So what happened is, like Mr. Spogel said, right now, we're going to be going into a period where we're going to be stretching it to get every one of those 28 crossings covered, just with the available manpower we have. Because people are going back to school, Some people haven't worked out, we're down. When we start stretching it, what we have to do is, by going over, 1 minute now, we go over that 5 hours, now we have to allow a, meal break for them. So now basically, even though we just extended an hour, we lost them for an hour. So by going to that 5 hours to the 6 hours, we lose them for an hour, so then we have to eat them for another hour on top of that. It gets a little unwieldy, particularly with the amount of people we're dealing with here. That schedule, and I'll give Pam credit, what she puts together, it's young kids, mostly young kids work.
Yeah.
They have a lot of demands, they have a lot of idiosyncrasies as far as what they need off. For her to patch that together and get through 28 covered every day, it's not just your regular schedule where you assign someone here and there, it's different people every day. And now we're losing people, it's getting tough to cover it. I can check with her. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it.
See what she has to say. Maybe there's some kind of a staggered schedule. She can bring a couple people in later and
You know, somebody else, nobody interested.
Maybe we can put something out there, Mayor, let it be known that for these last few weeks, we are seeking some people.
Yeah.
Maybe there
If they're not going to school,
or maybe there's some citizens who wouldn't want to consider doing it the whole season, but maybe they'll pick up a day
Well, we
here
just
and there.
want spreading the word a little bit that we
I'll
need.
do it after 4 o'clock.
There we go.
Put it out right now.
We got one hire. We got one already.
Could the supervisor stay on extra hours and ride the beach instead of riding the boardwalk? I mean, I don't think there's thousands of people doing this. I think there are groups, here and there. Why can't
Well,
they?
we only have 2-3 weeks left anyway. I mean, maybe she can juggle
Well,
the
we could
schedule.
do ride the beach side,
Ride the beach
I
side
do ride the beach side now,
till 6 o'clock at night
not till six.
Well, that's what I'm saying, to make them
Well,
do
5
it.
o'clock, well, 6 on the weekends, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
Whatever the time is, some of the communication that we got tonight that I just looked over, they're talking about this going on at least till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
With dinner, with meals and alcohol and whatnot. It may go on beyond 6, but maybe we could have someone
See what she
ride the
can do with the
beach side.
schedule. And let's do some advertising online and see if we can pick up some extra people and start them later. Figure something out for these next 3 weekends that are probably gonna be pretty intense, weather permitting, obviously. It's-
You can put that on one of the social media pages.
Anybody want a job?
A lot of retirees might do it.
Absolutely.
We
Let's
had
get
that
the word
one
out.
year, many years ago, where the senior citizens stepped forward and they did a really good job.
You've seen the last 2 meetings, we brought a couple on board.
Okay.
For that reason, to fill the holes.
All right, then we'll move on to new business. Anybody have new business that they want to discuss? All right, comments from the public time.
Nothing yet there, I'll give it a minute.
Yeah, give it some time.
And we do have 42 people.
Oh, good, crowd's growing. $43.
You won't even have to pay me as long as you can give me a badge and a taser.
Oh, amazing.
I'll provide that.
All I have is Mrs. Chamberlain from Bond Avenue telling me she has a number for Optimum. If she could provide that to the clerk tomorrow, I'd appreciate that.
That's great. Please provide it to us.
It's an issue with every one of the service areas. Everybody
Yeah,
has the same complaints.
no kidding.
But the people who have Comcast have the same complaints we do.
Hmm.
So,
I couldn't get in
pick
touch
your
with
poison. That's why I
Comcast.
stream on TV. No issues. the old
So
station.
you get more your Wi-Fi goes down.
Yeah, until your Wi-Fi goes down. Who's your cable I mean, your internet provider?
My internet provider said it doesn't go down, I never lost it.
When you lose the cable off your house, you lose it.
When you lost power, you didn't lose your cable?
Stream it, I didn't lose the Wi-Fi. So I still get my service.
So you get your Wi-Fi from who?
I get the modem is, or the internet service I get is still through Optimum, but I didn't have any issues with losing it.
During the blackout, you still had it.
Well, when you lose power, you lose everything. It's
Oh,
the same as everybody else, but when cable goes out, I'm still getting my
Nothing.
service.
No comments from the public tonight.
Nothing.
Wow, 42 people out there, that's it, okay. Good. Council comments.
Okay.
Bob, good. Dave,
Yes, got a couple. Huh?
turn your mic on. You boot somebody, go ahead.
Okay, have 5 on,
Good.
6. Couple of things. Our census, we're not doing well. We're still at 23% response from our residents. We have to do better. There's in Ocean County, the highest one is Manchester, 76% has responded to the census. This affects your voting districts, your school aid, and everything else that goes along with that. So you got to get it in. Just go online, 2020census.gov, and fill it out. It takes about 3 minutes.
I know we talked about, to me, it's a very complicated thing to do. I mean, you know, and you guys all talk about the internet and all these various things, but I didn't do it. My kids did it for me. You didn't do it.
My wife did it.
There's always somebody doing it, but it's something that years ago, the census was always done. Somebody knocked on your door, asked you a few questions. Now everybody thinks it's so easy to do it through the internet.
I do it on the internet, no problem.
You do. I'm saying a lot of people that are not familiar with it wouldn't do it. I know, I can tell you, my brother couldn't do that. There's people that are around that aren't going to be able to do that.
Another thing, flu shots are available. I got mine today. Don't forget to get it. With what's going on with the coronavirus and everything else, it could be deadly this year.
Did you get yours?
No.
I got mine.
I'm sick for a month.
Another thing, we had this power outage last week, and we had a couple of calls for people that are on oxygen concentrators. If you lose your power, you're gonna lose your oxygen concentrator. Buy a little 600-watt generator that you can use to run your oxygen concentrator. It's something you really want to do.
The police also, if you call them, they put you on the list, where if it does go out, they can.
I know, but if you don't have something to run your oxygen concentrator, you may die. That's what's keeping you alive.
Then if you you have that issue, and you try to figure out how to start to get the generator, you may die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When that thing went off, I was like looking at that, and I had to lift that thing and get gasoline.
No.
I was pouring out by the time I finished that thing. I was like, oh my God,
That's a lot of work.
forget it, I'll sweat.
But your beer stayed cold.
My beer stay cold.
If you don't have oxygen, you're gonna die.
I know, but again, if you can't get a generator started,
No,
There's a little,
they wouldn't be
it's
able
about
to do
this
that.
big. It's a little one.
it does it in your house, you can do it in your house.
No, you put it outside, you run an extension cord outside.
Just for the
You know, and if you're on an oxygen concentrator, you're either living with somebody or somebody, your next door neighbor can.
So obviously you haven't looked in your box today because you got the letters from citizens who are complaining about the generator.
I know, but this is a little, I don't even know if it's running.
So it only puts out a little bit of
Okay.
noise.
You're just concerned about people's safety.
I
I
appreciate
know why
that.
you do it, Dave. I'm just saying that these things are complicated.
It's not complicated, Bob. Don't make it bigger than it is.
I'm telling you, I had a generator during that time, it was complicated.
We used to have a couple, the police department has one.
They have one, but the first aid got a call to take an oxygen tank over to a citizen. That's the only thing he had. He had it for 14 hours. And it's luckily that we could get it in the house and everything else. That's the only thing that kept them alive for 14 hours.
I think the other takeaway here, Mayor, is that if you are at home with that type of issue, you have to call the police department. The police department has to get the emergency management people involved. We have the firehouse and the first aid building under emergency generators. Those buildings never lose power, and in an emergency, we would certainly transfer the people to those facilities to, accommodate them for the duration of the event, or at least to move them along. So that's the other, if you do not have your own self-generating capabilities, you have to get in touch with the police. They will make the necessary arrangements to get you to a facility that can accommodate your needs in the emergency till.
Jim, you know, the first aid is the first one to go to, and then the focus part of me is not set up to have people.
The way the emergency management plan is constructed, Bob, is that, yes, in fact, the first aid is the emergency shelter for times, when the Office of Emergency Management deems an emergency as in effect, yes.
So get the word out if you have oxygen generator concentrator in your home, you ought to let us know about it so that we can, take some precautions. Let's hope we don't have another.
Do you know how many residents?
There's probably quite a few in town, but you only find out about them when you go there.
Yeah.
But when I used to do the electric, I had a list of all the residents in town who, if we had a power outage, would need electric.
Yeah.
And the police, I would update it as it came, and the police had it. So when there was a power outage, they would take care of contacting each one to see it, do you,
If you really need it.
yeah.
The problem with those lists is that, people who have sleep apnea and have a machine, now a CPAP machine, well, they feel that they have an emergency, they should have an emergency generator brought to their house so they can get a.
Well, we're not gonna do that, we're gonna bring you to our shelter.
Okay.
And how many people wanna go to our shelter?
No, I'll be storing
I'm
them
thinking not too
all
many.
with
Right, we should try to get a list, so anybody who's on an oxygen concentrator or with an electricity dependent should inform the borough so we can compile the
I'll
list.
talk to Matt and see if he still has it. He has
Okay.
a list.
All right, any other new business?
Just a quick comment, Mayor, is, I think this is council comments. We did a very unscientific overview of the electric consumption, and in line with what we've been observing, the amount of electricity we've been using has gone up as well as the water. Approximately the last 3 or 4 months, it's been 8 to 10% higher than it's been the previous year. The month of July was by far the highest electric use in the last 5 years. So, we didn't really compare degree days to see how hot this July was compared to previous years, but nevertheless, I think that has some significance in terms of how many people are here. When we make those calls to ask people to ramp down their electric, this is why we're doing it. If we fail to catch a couple of those days and that additional 10% usage in January, we're going to find out what the implications that could be for our demand charges.
Jim, was that a success, this year's? Did we hit it on that?
We send out the announcement about it, and there were a couple days that I refrained from sending out the robocalls because it was right after we had the power outage.
Right.
I just didn't feel comfortable in sending that call out right thereafter. I appreciate everyone agreeing that when we did send out a robocall during the outage, just to try to, everybody was calling. We didn't have the answers. We didn't know. We were at the mercy of JCP&L, but a couple of citizens were thankful that we at least had some communication with them in terms of what was going on. So we really won't know the answer to your question, Bob, until all the high, when they look at those 5 peak days and see where we fit into them and compared to
When
last.
is that normal? Well, you won't know which ones are, we could have the 5 peaks in late August. You don't know when they're gonna hit until the season's over.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Was that your council comments or just your new business? That was my council. Okay. If there isn't any other new business, we'll continue with council.
So we already
comments.
did citizen comments, and now we're in council comments.
Okay, good. We already I'm great with this. We're fine. You're right. You're absolutely right. This is so fun.
I'm good.
Michael?
I'm fine, thank you.
Dave? Bob?
Oh, no.
Dave.
Oh, man. Get a quiet moment.
I want to thank Public Works very much for putting a light on the shed. I want to thank you publicly. I tell Ted.
What shed is that?
The shed by the basketball.
Okay,
courts.
sure.
It's wonderful. It lights the whole area up, and it was something that we haven't had anything so nice down here. Everything seems to be going very well. with
You're
Public
doing a
Works.
great job.
We'll be able to see the graffiti.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
I just want to mention also, if you want to go to Ocean County No Tech School, there's social distancing, small classes, if anybody's interested in getting some training. I also want to thank Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, once again, the plaques were beautiful, and I have to tell you that people actually called me up to say, wow, the plaque by the swings was beautiful. And I saw somebody the other day who gave money towards it. First, I saw Samansky, and she was so thrilled that we never put the name Samansky there, because that was her son's name. She really didn't want to say anything, but it was for her son. So you remember to put that name in also, besides the flyer. And then I saw a couple the other night, and I thanked them, and he said, well, why wouldn't we? We love this town. And we're here all the time. We have a place in West Point Island in Florida, but we love this town. I also want to mention there's going to be a movie tomorrow night. It was rained out, and between Donnelly, she worked very hard to make sure we got that movie back. What's the name of the movie again?
What movie we have done?
Playing with fire.
Playing with Fire. Everybody's been asking me, Playing with
It's
Fire.
not a cartoon.
It's a good movie.
What's his name?
Big stars?
One of the wrestler guys. What's his name?
Okay.
Oh, the Rock.
Not him, the other
You know
one.
what, they're
The other
all.
one, not the Rock.
John Cena.
Oh, okay. Oh, John Cena. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so there will be a movie, because they keep calling about that. So thanks for the plaques, thanks for the movie. And I also want to mention that, I won't mention any names, but, there was a person in town that really could not get out anymore and, really needed Meals on Wheels. So I was able to make telephone calls and contacts and whatever, and we did get Meals on Wheels, and she started today. So please, if you know anybody that needs Meals on Wheels, tell them to get in touch with me, and I'll connect them. She also got in touch with people that are gonna be able to take her through her doctor's appointments. So it's pretty important when you can't get out and have food in your house. And they bring 3 meals every day, Monday through Friday, so she's plenty of food. I also want to mention that Mr. Jim called me about something that's happening at Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, remember you called me about something that's happening at Dunkin' Donuts, something about the trash and cleaning up after they picked it up. And so I immediately called up the manager, and the manager said, Anita, I agree with that. I'm working on that. I was there today because I don't like it either. So they will make sure they wash their sidewalks down and clean the area after they take the trash from Dunkin' Donuts and Jersey Mike's. So that was a very important, the neighbor, the person that lived right next door was really upset about that. So, but we took care of it too. And I just want to show you one last thing. Schools are going to be starting, and I have another face mask that I was sent through the mail today. When, NJEA, when I retired after 30 years of teaching, 35 years of teaching, I was given the opportunity for $1,000 to join the NJA for the rest of my life. So I was telling Jim, so I did. I spent $1,000 to be an NJA member until I died. And when Sandy came along, guess what? Every NJA member got $2,000 to help us, rebuild. So it was a good thing. But anyway, hopefully everybody gets back to school one way or not another. Kids miss being socially, but we have to do best.
You good? Mr. Bryce, Mr. Bob?
Mr. Bob was good.
There was a show.
You have a side job, don't you, Mr. Bob?
They all know, so,
Mr. Bob. I remember that.
Nothing else, Mr. Bob? Very good. All right, I'm good as well. A couple weeks left of this season, but perhaps it's going to be extended somewhat. Let's try to keep our departments ready for that. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Motion to adjourn?
No second.
So moved.
No executive session I'm aware of? No. Good night, Mr.
Night.
George. All in favor of adjourning?
Yes.
Aye. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, good night.
Good night.